The podcast with a treasure hunt. The latest from our daily newsletter at podnews.net. Cavalry Audio is running a hidden treasure hunt as a podcast. Buried in the episodes of X Marks the Spot, The Legend of Forrest Fenn, lie clues to $50,000 of treasure. The podcast was launched in June, but only now has the company unveiled the existence of the hidden treasure. The show follows the history and subsequent controversy surrounding Forrest Fenn, a New Mexico art dealer, who in 2010 reportedly buried $2 million of gold somewhere in the Rocky Mountains. In a step forward for podcasters wishing to enable value-for-value streaming, podcast host RSS.com has partnered with Albi to seamlessly power boosts and boostograms with a free Lightning wallet for every one of their podcasters. To support the new payment and comment standard, RSS has produced a video showing how it works on their platform. Black podcasts are an untapped ownership opportunity, says Lloyd George, writing for Sounds Profitable. The podcast industry is ready for more black creators, startup founders and executives, he says. You can read the full article at soundsprofitable.com. The Dutch public broadcaster NPO has shared with Podnews the results of some research they did on podcast artwork. Testing a set of different artwork alternatives on more than 1,000 people with research company GfK, they discovered that people prefer being able to see the title of the show in the artwork, to have an image of the host, and a publisher logo. Acast has teamed up with Wondery to host, monetize and distribute 3 shows translated into Italian for the first time: Business Wars, Dr. Death, and almost inevitably Bunga Bunga, the story of the former Italian Prime Minister and would-be presidential candidate Silvio Berlusconi. And the Irish Podcast Awards has announced the inaugural list of nominees. The winners will be announced on September the 16th in Dublin.
Now here's a conversation I had with David Crosby in San Francisco on a Sunday afternoon. I know it sounds like a song, but there's a lot more.
Robin Williams, was he the first podcaster, as we wondered yesterday? It's been great to hear from so many people. We suggested in the article it wasn't an automatic download, but Guy Story, who led Audible's technology at the time, corrects us. If your Audible mobile player was sitting in its dock, the Audible desktop software would download the new episode and transfer it to the device, he said. Sounds like a podcast to us. Some, like the Argentinian podcast En Caso de Que El Mundo Se Desintegre, suggests that they might have been the first podcast delivered using the channel definition format within Microsoft Internet Explorer 4 in 1999. Our take? Yes but no. There was no concept of audio in that specification so far as we can see, and no user interface for it. Others suggest that they posted real audio files to stream on their websites or MP3s to download. San Francisco's Edward Champion pointed us towards Pirate Jack's shows, including his stuff. Rob Greenlee was doing similar, and our take, yes but no, because there's no software to transfer the shows to your portable player. So is that a podcast or just on-demand audio? Although he wasn't using RSS, Williams's description of what he was doing is undoubtedly what we would call a podcast today, producing a show that you could automatically download and transfer to your portable player. Many of our listeners feel really warmly towards Robin Williams, and there are no right or wrong answers here. It's just a pleasure to show a little of the history of our medium. And in podcast news, podcast hosting company Evooks has launched Podcasters, a Spanish-language podcast made by and for content creators. It features Danny Caron from Casus Belli and seeks to offer creators the best tips to produce, speed up and monetize their podcasts. .com, the hacking new from Crowd Network, looks at the complex world of Russian ransomware. Russian cyber intelligence becoming increasingly sophisticated. The war in Ukraine is being fought on 2 fronts, on the physical realm and on the digital. Hosted by Katie Puckrick, it came out yesterday. And talking about Russia, another Russia looks at the story of Boris Nemtsov, Putin's #1 public enemy, who was shot and killed in front of the Kremlin. His daughter, journalist Zana Nemtsova, and co-host Ben Rhodes tell his story to find out what happened to an entire country and what happens next. Is another Russia possible? It's new from Crooked Media. And that's the latest from our newsletter. To read all the stories, subscribe and support us. We're at podnews.net.